morning, good morning. We are back with another WIP for January. We're getting to the end of January and my goal for like one day didn't happen. So it didn't happen me recording it and getting it loaded because I had some issues. But anyways, I've got 3 or 4 more recorded and ready to do. So they're gonna come in the next week or so anyways. So today we're gonna work on a dog bandana, a puppy bandana or pet bandana. For these, I stick with just flannel. I like to use leftover flannel cuts from the scarves or maybe another project that I've created. So it's a simple pattern. Basically, it's just a square folded in half diagonally. And this is really pretty. I thought this would look really great on any kind of puppy. It seems like red or like lighter colors are great. I'm not sure why, but so anyways, we've just folded this. I have a bunch pre-cut. You can see there's a few others, but so this is just like a square, like I said. And so I've got it folded corner to corner. And basically we're just gonna take this to the sewing machine and we are going to sew from one edge to then all the way around, but we're going to leave about a 3 or 4 inch gap here so we can turn this inside out. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm actually going to start about 1 inch in from the corner here, just up here, and then I'm going to come down and I'm going to give myself about a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance along here. So we're just going to start up here. Like a back stitch, and I'm also using a walking foot. It just pulls the fabric, both layers of fabric together. You can see these feet are moving on here. This is a wider one. I have a narrow one too, but I love both of them. They work really well for any project. I believe most sewing machines, most new sewing machines, especially quilting ones, come with a walking foot now. But I know there was a time where you had to buy them separately, but anyways, we will continue on here. So I'm gonna sew here. I'm gonna back stitch. We're gonna cut our thread and we're gonna go ahead maybe 3 or 4 inches and come back to this 3/8 inseam, back stitch a bit and continue on. We're just leaving a gap up here so that we can turn this inside out. So again, I'm just going to stop here, maybe about 1 inch or so from this corner here. I trim this off after, but we're going to come straight. We're going to back stitch a little bit. I'm going to back stitch again. We're going to take this and we're going to turn it. We're going to trim the tips and then we're going to turn it inside. Okay, so we are going to trim the corners here. And then we're going to turn this inside out. So I just take my rotary cutter, I just trim along there, trim this here. We don't trim the seam that we just sewed. We always make sure we try to avoid that. And we're going to come over to this little hole that we have here. There's a little gap that I've left. And we are going to turn this inside out. I like to use the knitting needle again in the seams just to kind of push the seam out a little bit. My fingers work good, but sometimes that knitting needle just gives it a little bit extra. Okay, so just push that out a little bit more. Push that corner out. Push this seam out. And then what I'm gonna do is we are going to take it to the ironing board and we're going to iron it, and then we're going to top stitch along all 3 edges. So we're going to take it and iron it and top stitch after along all 3 edges, and then we're going to add our Velcro. I've got some white Velcro here that I've already cut into 3-inch length, and I've rounded the corners. I don't know, I take a little pair of scissors and just kind of round the corners. I'm not sure. Makes it look prettier, I think. And we're gonna make sure when we add the Velcro that one goes on one side, okay, up here at the top, and the other goes on the opposite side at the top, same seam. I have done where I put them both on the same side. I've done it where I put it down in the corner, but you gotta make sure you're adding them to the longest edge of your bandana. So again, I will point out that you could use these as like, even for yourself as a neck bandana. I have them as pet or dog bandanas, but they could be for people, for babies, anything really. So, okay, so as you can see, we've got it ironed nicely. The seams are kind of pushed out, and yeah, it's looking good. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna put a top stitch around all three edges. And the top stitch is just decorative, also keeps the seams together, but it also will close in where we've turned this inside out as well. So I'm gonna start, I generally start in the corner. That's pretty much my go-to, down around the corner area, just to kind of hide where I've started. We're going to lengthen our stitch length because this is a top stitch, so it doesn't need to be as tightly stitched. And I'm giving it about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, so catching both sides of the fabric, or both pieces of fabric. Okay, so we have, where's my scissors? So we have closed it up. We're gonna trim away the threads. And then we are gonna make sure we add the Velcro to one side in particular. So we're gonna start on this side, and this is the long edge, as you can see. So we're gonna start up here. We're just gonna follow along the edge of the Velcro piece. Okay, so we have the one piece on. I just realized this isn't really in the best spot. Okay, it's a little bit of better position there, sorry about that. So so here we are, we've got the Velcro on the one side. So this is one side, so we're gonna take the other piece of Velcro and put it on the back side of this. So when they meet, they're gonna close up nicely together like that. All right, so we've got that finished. So I like to take my tag and put it on the back of one of the Velcro tabs. Sometimes this takes the longest. We lock the stitch, trim our threads. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so it looks pretty good. This is it. The Velcro is on one side here and the other piece is on the other side here. So we just put it together. Yeah, there we go. Pet bandana, quick and easy. Or for yourself too. Let's see how this goes. Would I do this? Yeah, cowboy. Who knew?